My first batch of subjects arrived today, and I have to admit that I'm very excited.
Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. If it is your first time, then it's interesting that you chose a book haul, because some people don't like book hauls. I was going to do less book hauls, but it's been my birthday. I've had interesting luck recently, and I've got some really cool things on eBay. So I thought, actually, I'll do another book haul video. So, yeah, if you don't like them, I apologise. If you do like them, then there's some cool stuff coming up, because, yeah, I had a birthday. But also, I did buy some things deliberately from eBay, so they weren't finds, but I had some really interesting finds as well. So let's crack on, and I'll talk about the bits that happened on eBay or just before my birthday. Then I'll talk about my birthday. Then I'll talk about some things that I found today. Yeah, was that all? Yeah, I went to 2 different places today and found loads. And there'll be lots of references to book events, because some of the things I got today were knowing that I was going to take part in some events coming up through the rest of the year, and it was kind of arming myself with things to read, which I'll talk about in a minute. Okay, so let's start with the big man. So this is an author that I have said a number of times is a contender for my all-time favourite author, and this is Richard Matheson. This is absolutely fantastic condition, really perfect condition. The Gunfight, Richard Matheson, one of his Western ones. We wrote a number of Western ones, and I've got 3 of them now. I haven't got Shadow of the Sun, I don't think. No, I've got that one. No, which one haven't I got? I haven't got the Wild Bill Hickok's one, but I've got the other 3. You know, he's just a fantastic writer. So this is going to be really good for June on the Range, which is starting literally tomorrow. I'm doing this the last day of May, which I'll talk about in a minute in reference to Horror Mayhem. But yeah, June on the Range starts tomorrow. So I'm going to read some Richard Matheson Western stuff over June. So this was a really nice... I basically it just appeared on eBay relatively cheap, because these things are quite expensive quite often. And I'm running out of things I haven't got by Richard Matheson now, which is awesome. So there was that. There was also, where's that gone? There it is. I also ordered this, which is really interesting because I didn't know about it. And I was just looking at eBay to see what was out there by Ursula K. Le Guin, and this happened. Changing Planes. It's quite a recent one of hers. So she literally wrote some of this in the 2000s. So if you think about her most famous works are in the late 60s, then clearly this is a lot later. And this looks really interesting. So Changing Planes, tell me if you read this. I'm going to be a bit of a completist with Ursula K. Le Guin. She's also a contender for my favourite author. I kind of rate her as number 3. So another thing that was a lovely thing that happened, which is a great chance to talk about on a book haul video. These were sent to me by the lovely Troy Trellup. So Troy Trellup wrote this werewolf book, The Forsaken Boy, and I'm going to read this before Halloween because I'd like to recommend it, but we'll read it first, because that would be weird recommending something I haven't read. But I'm going to read that soon. And also Protect Me from the Things I Think I Want as well. So both of his books, which was a really generous thing to do and really awesome. And I am very grateful. So I've already said it on another video, but it was one of the Horror Mayhem videos. So I don't know if you've been watching them. They've got very low views, so you probably haven't seen them. Yeah, I'm very grateful to Troy for sending me those. So really look forward to The Forsaken Boy. And then these 3 I got at a festival I've just played at. So I just played at a festival in Derbyshire, and a friend of mine runs an online bookshop, and he's also a performer and a friend, and he takes some of his books, and some of one of the stages has a little area for him to put his books out, and basically 2 of these books are from that. So he just gave me this. He just came up to me and said, "You should have this. I'd like to know what you think," sort of thing. So Chuck Palahniuk is actually someone I still need to read. So I've got Fight Club and about 4 others by him, but I haven't read anything by him yet. But I want Fight Club to be the first one. So I need to read that. But he says that he really likes this. He says it's completely mad, like an unhinged serial killer book. So yeah, I'm going to read this soon, but very grateful to my friend for giving it to me. So that was a really nice thing. I mean, that was as soon as we got onto the site. So we camped, we set up our tents and that. Then we went onto the site to have a look around, and he immediately went, "Gareth, have this." That was nice. I got this from his stall. So I mentioned this on a live stream, my birthday live stream, and Dave and Olive both said they wanted to buddy read it. And then MJ said she wanted to buddy read it as well. So we should be buddy reading this quite soon. So this is actually part of the 24BB banned books project as well, because this was banned, which is really cool. I have read a Toni Morrison book before. I read Jazz. Didn't really like it much, but I get an impression that the way it's written is she's deliberately trying to emulate jazz improvisation and the form of a jazz song. So that might be why it didn't really land for me. This seems to be more straightforward, and I'm really looking forward to it. So Beloved, I'm going to read at some point. So I got that on his stall. But then also there was an anarchist stall by one of the stages as well. It was that kind of festival. And I found this, No Wall They Can Build, which is all about the Mexican border and the cost that the cost of running it, and kind of like the political cost as well, and all that kind of stuff. It looks really interesting. So I'm going to read this some point this year, hopefully. So yeah, that was a really nice find as well. So that was at the festival, and then just a couple of days after the festival was my birthday. So first thing that happened on my birthday was I opened a package from Dave, and he'd bought me this, which is amazing. So I've known about this book for a long time, but I've always wanted it, never had it. So this is a history of Mad Magazine. If you've seen my channel recently, you might have seen that I did a video about Mad Magazine, because I've got 59 paperbacks, Mad Magazine paperbacks, and I've got a bunch of magazines as well that I'll go through in the summer. But yeah, I'm really pleased to have this. Really, really pleased to have this. So that was awesome. So thanks, Dave, for that. That's a lovely present. I also got, first thing I got, like in the sort of morning, my son was down because we were playing at the festival, and he came down for my birthday. He lives in Brighton, and he'd given me editions 3 and 4 of Saga. So I've read 1 and 2. So I might actually need to read 1 and 2 again, because it was a while ago. I'm not sure, but I really like them, so I want to read all of them. So I've got 3 and 4 now, which is great. And I'm gonna look more into Brian K. Vaughan, because I've also got his The Last Man, and he's written loads of stuff. So yeah, it seems to be an interesting guy. But yeah, 3 and 4 of Saga I've got. Let me know if you've been reading Saga or if you've read it. I'd really like to know. And then we went to Brighton for the day, and I'll go through the stuff I bought in Brighton, okay? So, this one, oh, I've taken a lot of these out of the packaging, and I'm quite intrigued by the paper sleeves that you can buy. They're like pocket sleeves. I think they're a great idea, and I might just get a load of them. But then I'm like, well, which books do I put in sleeves? So I don't know, but I guess probably the older ones, but then maybe the newer ones of my favourite books, maybe want to preserve them, don't know. But these were in those paper sleeves, and they're really good condition. So anyway, first one, James M. Cain's Baby in the Icebox. Baby in the Icebox. How cool is that? So he wrote Postman Always Rings Twice, which was brilliant. I read that. I did a review of it, I think, on my channel. Yeah, I did. There's a book review of Postman Always Rings Twice on my channel. I can't resist a book called Baby in the Icebox. But I've wanted to read more by him anyway, so this was a really nice find. And as I say, really good condition. So James M. Cain, Baby in the Icebox. Raymond Carver, What We Talk About When We Talk About Love. Again, it's quite a short one, but I am making a deliberate effort, by the way, to build up a few videos about short stories. So I've done a little bit about short stories relatively recently, but I wanna do more on short stories. So Raymond Carver is famous for very influential short stories, so that'd be cool. I bought another Chester Himes book, so this is called Comeback Charleston Blue, and fantastic cover there. That's similar design or style to one of my Cotton Comes to Harlem covers, but I've got quite a lot of Chester Himes, so that was really cool. Again, fantastic condition. I don't think it's been used much, you know. It's clearly been used, but not much. It's really lovely condition, so that's really good. I've looked more into this, and it's relatively recent Lee Brackett book. So Lee Brackett is someone I want to look into more, because she had a very important relationship with Ray Bradbury. He wrote about her in the introduction to one of his books, as an influence and a mentor. So I definitely want to read more of Lee Brackett's stuff. And this could be a little bit like John Carter, I'm not sure, but the Ginger Star, Eric John Stark story. This is the second one, I think. Don't know. This is the first new adventure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where the chronology is. But yeah. The planet Skaith is a death world. Was a death world. Anyway, yeah. So again, fantastic condition. I love it when I find old books in brilliant condition. But I mean, you can see it's hardly been touched, which is great. Sphere SF. Sphere was a big deal to me when I was a kid. Okay, I bought this is with Garbaugust in mind, and I saw it and I couldn't resist it. Again, amazing condition. The second Buck Rogers book, That Man on Beta. Look at that. How awesome is that? So so it probably doesn't matter that I haven't read the first one, and the first one is probably just setting up Buck Rogers being in the 25th century. I'm not sure, but yeah, fantastic condition again. There's a place in Brighton where we went for my birthday called Snooper's Paradise, and you can get some really interesting collectible books in there. So this is where I got a lot of these things. And I also found a John Steinbeck book I haven't got. I've got lots of John Steinbeck books. You might have seen the John Steinbeck video I did, and I haven't read this, didn't even know about it. So Tortilla Flat, and if you caught the live stream, you would have heard that Brian from Bookie said that he liked this one, but it sounded like he didn't like a lot of Steinbeck. he said that's actually one I like, so that was interesting. But I really like Steinbeck, so I look forward to reading that one as well. Again, fantastic condition. Look at that. I mean, it's so nice when you find something in such good condition. And then I also bought two books in Waterstones as well in Brighton, because my daughter gave me a voucher. So I bought this one, which is a hard case crime book. I've got a bunch of hard case crime books up there. And this is Into the Night. So it's written initially by the guy who wrote Rear Window, Cornell Woolrich. Yeah, Cornell Woolrich. But then he didn't finish it. It was finished by Lawrence Block. So I think that's interesting. So I'm collecting quite a lot of crime books. I'm really getting into that this year and last year. So yeah, Into the Night. See what that's like. If you've read that, please let me know. And then the big purchase, the one that I'm very, very excited about, was Alien Clay by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So I couldn't resist it. I saw it there, and I went in there looking for the Stephen King book, If You Like It Darker, but I couldn't see it. And I asked him, have I got it wrong? Is it not released yet? And he said, no, it's released, but we sold out. I was like, okay, cool. They must have had loads in there. So yeah, Stephen King, eh? But actually, it's pretty good, because I saw this and I wouldn't have carried on looking if I'd have seen the Stephen King book. So I'm glad that I didn't get it, because I wanted to get this more, really. So yeah, Alien Clay, and I should be buddy reading this with Dave. Let me know if you are about to read this, because it'd be nice to read it with you. And Dave did mention Robin from Bookend and Biscuits and Bookends, Bookends and Biscuits, Bookends and Biscuits. Anyway, Robin, who's awesome, fantastic channel, and we've met a couple of times on the London Book Hall stuff. She's awesome, and she's read this and said it was brilliant. And shout out to Robin. Check out her channel. I'll link it below. So Alien Clay is definitely one I'm going to read soon. Okay, so today I did some shopping, and literally I just went around for 2 shops. So the charity shop down the road from me, where I bought far more than I normally do, and then I went, especially, I hadn't been there for a couple of months probably. I went to the second-hand shop that's about 15-minute walk from my house, which is, you can usually find something in there, but I actually found quite a lot in there today. So this is what I got in the charity shop. So I bought the Miriam Margolyes autobiography. So this is going to be good for Garbaugust, because it's a biography. It's written by a celebrity, about celebrity. It's good condition, but she's quite a unique woman. So this should be quite funny and quite unique, I expect. So tell me if you've read this. Tell me if you know about her, because obviously the American people watching this might not know her as well. But she's quite a character. So yeah, let me know if you've read this or if you know about her. I found a McBain book. That was awesome, finding a McBain book in the charity shop down the road. So I've got a bunch of them now. I've got, I don't know, about 12, I guess. And it's nice to see how the gang's all here. So, Ollie, is this one of the good ones? Let me know. This could fit into Garbaugust, although only because of like the pulpy, long series nature of it. I mean, it's clearly not trash, but it fits under the remit of some of the definitions of trash. It's got men's adventure kind of stuff as well, you can kind of call it. So yeah, it can be something I could read in Garbaugust. And the first McBain book I read, I did read it in the first Garbaugust. But yeah, tell me what that one's like, Ollie. And then talking of Garbaugust, I bought these, right? There was about 14 of them in the shop, and I thought, well, I'm not going to go more than this. And I felt a little bit weird getting this much, but I thought, well, one thing I did last year with Garbaugust was I bought loads and loads, and I got rid of some after the event. And actually it was quite fun because I was only buying things cheap. And when I did my big unhaul of loads and loads of books, I've got rid of about 400 books probably over the last year, and I'm going to do that again this summer. I'm going to have another look, see what else I can get rid of. And I can get rid of some of these ones that I might read for Garbaugust or not get to, and that kind of thing. But these are Warhammer books. So there's the initial trilogy. Where's that? This one. That's the initial trilogy here for the heresy. The Horus Heresy. The Horus Heresy trilogy. There were tons and tons of books in this series. But this is the initial trilogy, and I thought, well, if I just read the first 3, or read the first 1, then that might be quite cool. But then I also, and just to let you know what they're called, so the first one is called Horus Rising. That wasn't the price. I got these for £1 for all 3. So Horus Rising, and then False Gods, I think, was the next one. And then Galaxy in Flames. So it might be a bit militaristic. If it is, then it won't be my bag, but we'll see. I love fantasy stuff. Could be interesting. It's kind of science fiction fantasy, and it's science fantasy because it's set in the future, but it's got lots of fantasy tropes. But then I also found this, which could be a way to start, Tales of Heresy. So these are short stories in that universe. So yeah, I could try that out. If you are an expert at these things, tell me which ones are really good. I know no. But yeah, just let me know. And then it might kind of motivate me to read them. And it'd be a shame if I bought these 4 and then just get rid of them straight afterwards. So I bought those. But then I also found loads of interesting things in the second-hand bookshop I went to after I went to that charity shop. So the first thing I bought, actually it was one of the last things I saw, but the most significant thing I bought was this massive Edgar Rice Burroughs box set. So big shout out to Michael K. Vaughan, who loves Edgar Rice Burroughs. And this is Tarzan at the Earth's Core and Other Tales. So this is a big old hardback. the condition's fine, but it's clearly been mended after being damaged somehow. But there's actually, is it six books in this book omnibus. So you've got Tarzan at the Earth's Core, Tarzan the Invincible, Tarzan Triumphant, Tarzan and the City of Gold, Tarzan and the Lion Man, and Tarzan and the Leopard Men. So this is a Glantz SF. Well, actually, it's part of the SF series, but it's not really science fiction, is it? I wouldn't call it science fiction. It's part of the SF Gateway series. So Edgar Rice Burroughs, Tarzan at the Earth's Core, and Other Tales. So this was a really nice find. And this massive old book. I mean, I know it's not great condition, to be fair, because it's been mended. That's all right. Yeah, it's all right. But it was £5 for all that. So I thought that was pretty good. So I got that. And then, again, we are just about to enter the summer, which means summer of book trek. And I went through a bunch of James Blish trek books that were given to me by Dave Brzezinski. Thanks again, Dave. And I didn't have number 8, but I found that today. So I've got number 8. So I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 for definite. And 4 and 2, I think it is, and 12. But yeah, so that was a nice find. So I got number 8. And because these were massively cheap. I'm not a massive fan, to be fair, but I was going to give him a go, especially as Garbaugust is coming. Could be a good excuse to sort of see what he's doing. Probably staring at women. Richard Lehman. So One Rainy Night. Again, really good condition. But yeah, one rainy night. And Night in Lonesome October. And Come Out Tonight. So really cheap. So I thought, okay, I'll go for it. Like really cheap. That definitely feels like a guilty pleasure if I do like them. Anyway, a little bit more sophisticated. I also found Notes of a Native Son by James Baldwin from one extreme to the other. And so that was a really nice find. So I've got a bunch of James Baldwin stuff, and I've read some, and I really like him. So Notes of a Native Son. I'm hoping to read Another Country soon for the 24 BBB event. But yeah, I'm glad to have this. And then the last thing I'm going to mention, and this is a really nice way to close the month as well, because it's been Horror Mayhem this month, and I'm doing this on the last day, and I've got a free day today, and there's 2 stories I want to read before I draw Horror Mayhem to a close, before I get to the 1st of June. So I've got about 12 hours or something before we go into June. And there's a story by John Lindquist, the guy who wrote Let the Right One In. There's a story by him I want to read. And I've also found a book called Daphne du Maurier's Classics of the Macabre. And this has got Don't Look Now. So Don't Look Now is a very famous Nick Rogue horror film with Donald Sutherland in it, and Julie Christie, with a notorious sex scene in it. But Don't Look Now is a classic horror film, but I really want to read the story, and this has also got the birds in it, so I couldn't resist it. It's also illustrated by Michael Forman, which is really interesting. But yeah, that's clearly from Don't Look Now. So I'm going to read Don't Look Now. I might be able to read The Birds as well. And if I do, then it will be a nice finish to May. But I'm going to read this one by John Lindquist first. So yeah, that was a really nice find. Classics of the Macabre, Daphne du Maurier, illustrated by Michael Forman. Really nice. It's a bit awkward size, the shape for my bookshelves, but that's fine. It's not a bad thing necessarily. So there we are. Big old bunch of books, but really interesting set of stuff. Please tell me which ones of those you're interested in, because there's a whole range of different styles in there, and I'd love to know what your thoughts are. So lots of events to come that will encompass those books. But thanks for watching as always. Stay curious, everybody.
picture